So I'm pleasantly surprised by the ending of this arc. I mean, it had a rough go around pretty much the whole entire time. I mean, there are some moments that were kind of cool, but the landing on this thing was not too bad, especially considering the last chapter, which made a lot of people angry. So let me just go over the ending real quick, and then I'll give my thoughts after that. So after taking the power of Beerus, Moro just becomes way too influctuated with power. To where the point of where his body can't handle it anymore, so he fuses with the earth somehow, and now he is like in control of the earth, and he's like this big amorphous monster thing, and Goku's continuing to fight that. But we also have like a ticking clock right now because of all of this crazy amount of power within Moro. He's going to explode and destroy the galaxy. So they have like a time limit to defeat him. And it's looking really bad at this point, and Beerus is about to step in to save the Earth. But then him and Whis are called by the Grand Priest to go talk about Beerus and the stuff that happened with him. But then Whis tells Goku that in order to defeat Moro, you're gonna have to destroy the crystal in his head. So Goku, of course, tries to go do that, but Moro successfully defends against it. Then Vegeta steps in and starts punching the ground using his spirit fission to like drain the energy from Moro, which I called in my previous review. But it's still not enough. Like, Moro is draining Vegeta's energy and Goku's at the same time, and then Goku eventually powers down to his base form. So then this leads to the standard, you know, DBZ final moment thing where everyone just has to give their power to Goku. This has happened so many times. But this time there's a twist. Instead of doing it themselves, they're using Vegeta's Force Spirit Fission as like a conduit to make it a more effective process, I suppose. So they transfer some power to Goku, but it's only enough to get him to Super Saiyan Blue. Then Jocko realizes that, like, okay, I guess he needs divine energy. So he goes to Kami's lookout, says, hey, you know, where's Boo? We need him. And then it cuts to Oob, of all people. And then we see the Lord of Lords with him. And then Oob transfers his divine energy to Goku, which is enough to get him up to Ultra Instinct. Then Goku defeats Moro after that. So all in all, pretty solid ending. Considering I wasn't expecting much, I do think that they handled this well. But of course, it's still pretty derivative, like I was saying in the previous chapter. But then again, it's Dragon Ball. It does what it does. So going to Vegeta, I like how they used him. Of course, it would have been nice if he got the big win, which it seemed like maybe he was going to midway through this arc. But this is better than nothing. And like I said, I knew that he was going to punch the ground and use the Force Spirit Fission, and that was cool. But him being on the ground and getting drained by Moro quicker than what he was able to drain from Moro, couldn't he have just flown and did it? I mean, you could fill in the headcanon for yourself, but it's not explained in the, story why he has to do that. Going to Beerus, I would have liked to have seen him step in and what he could have done against Moro. We still don't really understand the full strength of Beerus at this point, at least compared to like somebody that was like Ultra Instinct Goku or Mira's Moro, or whatever you want to call him, Planet Moro. But that was like a purposeful tease, I suppose, because hopefully we get to the point of where Goku rematches Beerus, or Beerus fights somebody earnestly and it's like somewhat of a competitive fight. And I'll go into that more towards the end because I'm going to talk about like what the next arc could be. So as for the Oob thing, a little bit Deus Ex-y. I can forgive it because this was established that this was the case. Like in chapter 49, they explain this dynamic, which is pretty cool. Because like the Lord of Lords tries to use the sealing technique on Moro and it doesn't work. Then later on, Mira says that like he suspects that the power of the god was passed on to the evil half of Boo. Because the good Boo inherited the great Lord of Lords' physical appearance, he assumes that he received the god power as well, but maybe that power went to evil Boo instead, and that is the case. And of course, Oob is the reincarnation of evil Boo. Goku says he made a deal with King Yema to make this possible. So that's pretty much as far as the explanation on this we're gonna get, how the God Key transfers to reincarnation and all that stuff. It doesn't matter, it just happened and it worked. I just would have liked if there was more paneling here. Like Jocko does go to the hideout and it's like, hey, where's Boo? Oh, he's sleeping. But it's been established that Boo has been like notoriously difficult to wake up before this point. So I guess Jocko just instantly woke him up. He was like, hey, I need Lord of Lords form to take over. And then he was like, hey, you know where Oob is, the reincarnation of Boo? Can you go teleport to him and then explain everything to him and then have him transfer his God Key halfway around the Earth to Goku. Like, it kind of just happens instantly. There's no real setup to it. So it's like really rushed, but I guess it happens a lot in Dragon Ball, I suppose. And as I was also saying, derivative, because this has happened so many times. It's like, oh, Goku needs more energy, so let's all just give him our energy and buff him up so that he can defeat the big bad. It's fine. You know, it's just, it is what it is. But I at least like that they were using Vegeta as the conduit here. At least he got something to do. It was kind of like an alley-oop between Vegeta and Goku, and I like that. It's better than him just, you know, doing nothing. And another thing that I kind of liked in this chapter was Goku's perfect Susanoo. Like, he gets huge and then is able to like muscle down Moro. It appears that this is like just his key manifestation, which is pretty much the same thing that a Susanoo is. And there's no explanation how he's able to suddenly do this. Like, even the other characters are shocked. Maybe we'll get an explanation afterwards, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. Dragon Ball doesn't really explain a lot of things anyway. But it's cool that it's different, and it makes sense that Goku, who is on a crazy, unfair level of power right now, would be able to do at least some things like this, besides just being super fast, super strong, and shooting ki blasts and having the subconscious defense mechanism. Like I said, fine ending. Don't really have too many issues with it. And I'm pretty sure this is definitively the ending of the Moro arc. There was some news spreading around on Twitter that they're for sure going into a new arc in chapter 67. So that's cool. I'm just glad this one is over. It was, one of the weaker arcs, but it's fine that it's even continuing, I suppose. But what could the next arc be? Your guess is as good as mine, because there's no way you could have guessed what the Moro arc was going to come out of nowhere. But they've kind of gotten to a point of like extreme power creep, and that's always been one of the issues with Dragon Ball, especially Z and Super, is just power creep on top of jumping the shark, on top of extreme power creep. So it's like, okay, now that Goku seemingly has mastered Ultra Instinct, it can just pull it out whenever he needs to. The stakes are kind of low because there's no really established beings out there that are even close to that level, you know what I mean? Besides like Beerus and the Angels. So they're either gonna have to bring in like new guys from other universes that we don't know about that can just be established that, hey, they just existed, or Goku starts to fight the God of Destructions for some reason. I mean, I suspect whatever Whis and Beerus are going to talk to the Grand Priest about will probably set up the next arc, so maybe it has to do with other universes or God of Destructions or something. Definitely don't think Goku's going to be fighting an angel. I mean, clearly nowhere near that level yet. We saw that Whis easily, blocked one of Moro's punches. So I think that established that, like, yeah, don't worry about the angels yet. But if they don't go into that side of stuff, then they're just going to pull another dude from their own universe who was just always there, like Moro, like, oh, he was just in prison chilling, or this guy was asleep or whatever. But we'll see what happens. If you like the review, guys, please give it a like. Let me know what you thought about this chapter in the comments. I got a Patreon, Twitch, I got stuff. Check them out. Have a great day. See you in the next one.